Good morning. This lesson is for our Trig-Precalc class, but before I get started, I want to say I hope everyone is doing all right out there. I believe this is chapter 5, lesson 4, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is the goals for this lesson. Our first goal is to draw a picture that represents angle difference formula, the angle difference formula for sine and cosine. Our second goal is to define and use these formulas. So let's just go ahead and jump right into our first goal here. I want to rewrite sine of 15 degrees and cosine of 15 degrees using known angles and draw a picture that represents this. So we know angles like 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, 180, 210, 225, 240, 270, 300, 315, 330, and 360. I can subtract two of these angles and get to 15 degrees. There's more than one way to do this, but we'll do it the simplest way. So sine of 15 degrees is the same as sine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. And cosine of 15 degrees is the same as cosine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. Oh wait, that goes inside there. Remember from a previous lesson we saw that we can't distribute. That's not the way this works. And let me go ahead and just draw the shapes here. So I'm going to draw my 45 degree triangle here, because that's what we're doing, is we're making triangles. My 45 degree triangle. And again, I'm eyeballing it. Forgive me if I'm off a little bit. Oh well. It jumped out of the way like that was something heavy. So here's my 45 degree angle, made from my 45, 45, 90 triangle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my 30, 60, 90 triangle so that my 30 degree angle is coming off this hypotenuse. So I believe it looks something like this. And it makes a right angle off of that. Okay. And so, I'm going to put one more, I say to it. So my remaining angle right here is 15 degrees, right? And this height from here to here, that is sine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. And this length from here to here, that is cosine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. So this is a visual representation of what we're actually calculating. And I hope that we remember the video we watched where Mr. Khan was able to argue about adding together, and we had a much larger height or sine value and a much shorter cosine value. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause, erase all of this, and set up the second goal. I'll be back. I'm back. Moving on to our second goal. Define and use the formulas for the difference of sine and cosine. So our difference formula for a sine is sine of an angle minus an angle is equal to sine of the first angle times cosine of the second angle minus the sine of the second angle times the cosine of the first angle. Remember, sine and cosine are real fancy ways to say y coordinates and x coordinates. Sine is the y coordinate, cosine is the x coordinate. Remember that. Our cosine difference, our angle difference formula for cosine, is cosine of the angle x minus the angle y is cosine of angle x times cosine of angle y plus sine of angle x times sine of angle y. So I have an example continued for the first part of the lesson. find sine of 15 and cosine of 15. We already know that sine of 15 degrees can be rewritten as sine of 45 degrees minus sine of 30 degrees. I have the angle difference formula for sine. I have that. These are the same. Cosine of 15 degrees, we saw, could be rewritten as cosine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. I have the angle difference formula for cosine. I have this, so I get to use this. Now, I drew in a unit circle for 30 degrees. There's my x-coordinate, there's my y-coordinate. And for 45 degrees, there's my x-coordinate, there's my y-coordinate. So I'm just going to follow the formula accordingly. So sine of 45 minus 30 becomes sine of the first angle, which is 45. So I want the y-coordinate of the, I'm sorry, let me take a step back. Let me plug this in. So I get sine of 45 degrees times cosine of 30 degrees. And I'm going to subtract the sine of 30 degrees, the second angle. And I'm going to multiply that by cosine of the first angle. My y-coordinate at 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. My x-coordinate at 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Minus my y-coordinate at 30 degrees is 1/2. And my x-coordinate at 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 3, that becomes square root of 6. 2 times 2, that becomes 4. 1 times square root of 2, that's minus square root of 2. 2 times 2 is over 4. And I can put this in one fraction and say the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2, that is equal, or that over 4, that is the y-coordinate at 15 degrees. Square root of 6 minus square root of 2 over 4. Again, I'm going to follow my formula. Let me just plug it in accordingly. My first cosine of my first angle times cosine of my second angle. So I get cosine of 45 times cosine of 30. And I'm going to add that to the sine of my first angle times the sine of my second angle. So it's sine of 45 times the sine of 30. I want to make sure I'm still on the whiteboard here. I have a feeling I went off. Yeah, I'm still on there. All right. So now I just plug in accordingly, right? I want the x-coordinate at 45 degrees. That's square root of 2 over 2. I want the x-coordinate at 30 degrees. That's square root of 3 over 2. And I'm going to add that to the y-coordinate at 45 and multiply by the y-coordinate at 30. So the y-coordinate at 45 is square root of 2 over 2. And the y-coordinate at 30 degrees is 1 over 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 3, that's square root of 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 2 times 1, that's square root of 2. And 2 times 2 again, that's 4. So now I'm left with square root of 6 plus square root of 2 all over 4. This is the x-coordinate at 15 degrees. So hopefully this is enough for you to understand how to apply the difference formula, and hopefully you understand how the picture was set up. Do I expect you to prove this? No, I do not. But I hope that you understand where the picture did come from. So I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson here. Again, I hope everybody is doing all right out there. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.